No successful person was successful by themselves. Absolutely no one. I don't think there's anyone in this world that was successful by themselves, right? Either they got help from family, parents, mentors, peers, whatever. Someone has gotten help to get to the next level. And that is a part of life. And you need to get comfortable with asking for help. And you need to get comfortable with saying, I cannot do this alone. I need some help. I need assistance. I need support. And you also have to advocate for yourself. Because in some schools, some places, when you do take that leap of faith and ask for help, you may not get the response you want initially. So you have to have that resilience to ask again and ask someone different. You know, like try to see if you can find someone else. And my junior year and senior really took a turn for a difference because I was comfortable with asking. I was comfortable with being curious, asking questions, getting help. I was able to make relationships with faculties I would have never made before. I was able to learn better because I asked for help, you guys. It is so important. Whether you're pre-med or not, asking for help in your life is important. That's the only way to succeed. You need support. You cannot do anything on your own merit. I mean, you can, but like you will always need someone to help you. I realize I jump conversation a lot. So back to what I was originally saying. So I was working this Saturday and we had a plastics lab, and the plastics lab included cadaver heads. And this was my first time seeing a cadaver head. And I fainted and came back to life. Literally, this all happened in my head, not in real life. I fainted and came back to life. And I told myself, well, Sean, you gotta suck it up because eventually you were gonna see a cadaver. So it was either now or later. And you just chose now. And even though I was working, I wanted to participate in the lab because I thought it'd just be a cool experience. And that's one thing I like about my job is like I had the opportunity to do that. So basically you have oculoplastics, which is like, you know, cosmetic or reconstructive or whatever surgery that's revolving the face and the eyes. And it was really cool because we learned a couple procedures and I got to do my first suture ever. And initially I felt I didn't really want to actively participate, like try to do some of the techniques for some of the sutures, just because I'm like, okay, well, I'm just, you know, a pre-med while these are residents who actually want and need the training. So why would I, you know, take that opportunity from someone? But no one else volunteered. So I said, you know what? F it. Let me just go ahead. Like, you know, this is a learning experience. Let me just go ahead. And it was really fun because the professor or the faculty that was like at our station with our head, he was really nice and like he really guided me and was like, okay, you want to make sure you get through this like muscle enough, but you don't want to get it like you don't want to suture and like find out it's under the eyelid. It was really cool. And I felt like, wow, this is like a small win, you know. And I felt so special about that like suture. And like my supervisor, I think he happened to pass by and he was just looking, and like I made eye contact with him and he can just tell how into it I was and how fascinating it was. And like there was a lot of students who did not want to leave. Most of these students are residents. I thought it was fun and I was like, wow, I got over my fear of cadaver heads. And the entire time I really thought about, wow, there are people out there who dedicate their body to research and dedicate their body to teaching and learning opportunities for other students, and learning would not be possible without these people who donate their bodies. And it was just something I thought about and I was like, wow, that's I think it's a beautiful thing, but it's also very interesting for me because I asked myself, would I be willing to do that? And I don't necessarily know the question. I don't know how comfortable I would feel with like my head on like, you know, a table and like students working on it or something. It's weird to think about, so I'm not gonna think about it because I'm gonna live a long life to declare the glory of God, so we're not even gonna worry about that right now. But it was something I was thinking about, and the same concept of like organ donors and how there are people who recognize that there are other people in need that need those organs, and if you know they're gonna pass away already, they might as well donate it to a good cause. Have any of y'all watched The Lion King yet? I've heard very mixed things about it. Some people are like, oh, it's very underwhelming, it's not worth it. Should I watch it? Should I not? I did listen to the album that was, you know, produced or curated by Beyonce because I was genuinely interested. And I'm part of this Facebook group full of African girls, and you know, we just use that as a platform for, you know, girl chat and stuff. And someone brought up asking East African girls, how do you feel about the fact that Beyonce, has produced this album that features a lot of Nigerian and West African, mostly Nigerian artists. However, The Lion King fundamentally is probably based off of like East Africa region, and like that kind of discrepancy and representation of, you have West African artists on this album and no East African representation for a movie that was based off of East Africa. And I thought it was very intellectual, thing to bring up, and a very interesting conversation to have. I thought about it, and that's what prompted me to listen to the album, so I can, participate in the conversation, because I love conversations like that where we really think about the effects that social media and certain things have on representation, especially representation in Africa, right? Because that's, I think, a very sensitive topic, and it's really easy to generalize Africa into one big thing, but it's not, right? We have West, South, East, North. They all have different cultures. They're not the same thing, And I thought it was, so I personally commented and I said, I do feel like Beyonce should have included some East African artists, because if the Lion King and the movie, they're speaking in Swahili, they do things that are coming from East Africa, it only makes sense to have them have that representation. And other people brought up the point of like, it's also about what sells and what will make money. And right now, West African artists are what's hot, and they will pull in the most money, as opposed to maybe finding local or smaller Kenyan or, East African artists. And I really thought about it. I was like, wow, it's so crazy how much money plays a role in so many decisions that are made on different levels in the world, right? In the music industry, in politics, even in the medical school application process. It's a money-making business. Like, literally, they just make money off of people's dreams of wanting to be a doctor. I listened to the album and I was like, okay, I can't be too mad, because some of these songs, I'm like, yes, go ahead, Burn Up Boy. Yes, Tiwa, fuck it up. Yes. Oh, yeah. So I was kind of, happy to see that representation, and like, wow, like, yes, and finally, like, the Nigerian artists that are really, really big names, have made a name for themselves, are getting more opportunities and getting more exposure. And I've seen things where, say, Beyonce's putting Nigerian artists on the map. No, we were already on the map, point blank, period. Beyonce just enhanced. She geographically opened the regions of the map in which we are on, but we were always on the map to begin with. I was never really like a gung-ho like Lion King fan, so I really don't really care for it, but it's a good opportunity to have a movie date, so we'll see if I go for it. You guys comment below if you've already watched it to let me know if I should watch it, because I am cheap and I don't want to spend my money on things that I'm not going to enjoy. Like, I remember this past weekend, I went on a date with my little friend, and he got like these free Toy Story 4 movie tickets from a client, and he was making fun of how, like, why would they, I'm a grown-ass man, why would they give me Toy Story tickets? And the wheels in my head started turning. I was like, this is perfect. I was already gonna come up to see you, so we could use this as a movie date. So I finally get up to see him, and in the car I'm like, so where's those Toy Story tickets? He's like, why? And I was like, so we can use them to go to the movies today. What do you think? Like, you got some free movie tickets and you think we're not gonna use them? And he said, you're just so cheap. He said, you're such a cheap woman. Like, I thought you were here. I am thinking you're gonna take me out on a date and da-da-da-da, and you want to use my ticket. I said, sir, free trumps everything, okay? It does not matter. So, you know me, I'm always in looking for a deal. Ask any of my friends, they know me. I'm always trying to finesse and trying to look for a deal, look for, something, trying to maximize how much freeness of stuff I can get. So it was funny, and please let me know if you've watched it, because I don't want to spend money on something that I'm going to be upset about. Or I have T-Mobile, so you have these T-Mobile Tuesdays where sometimes they'll give you like $4 movie tickets, and those are times I go to the movies. I claim those I redeem those $4 movie tickets, and I say, okay, we can go to the movies today because they're $4 as opposed to $15. In short, I'm a cheapskate. And I own it with every ounce of my body. I own it. I think it's a good skill to have, and I think that it's useful to know how to organize your money. And I really do need to create that budgeting video that I've been meaning to do. Maybe I'll do it today. I don't know. So in the past like couple of videos, the background, as you can see, my dresser is like all messed up, and I think there's no redeeming it. It has no chance of getting itself fixed. I bought it off of OfferUp from someone, you know, for an affordable price. I'm like, this thing don't even, it's in shambles. Like, it's broken. And I'm like, I don't even have that many okay, I do have a lot of clothes in there, but still. In short, don't judge me, because I see it's there, I know it's there. I was reading some of the comments from my Appreciate Your Journey video. They warmed my heart. It was good to see that you guys are very receptive to the things I talk about. Just because the videos, especially when I'm doing my makeup and I'm talking, I'm just kind of thinking out loud and reflecting and sharing my thoughts. And I think it's really important to have that time to do that and have that space to do that. And I think part of growing is being able to reflect and being able to speak about the things that went well and didn't go well and how you're gonna make a difference. Oh, wow, you la la, like Auntie Kika is doing the thing. So the person who's making my clothes for the wedding next week, I was just on Instagram looking at a friend, and like her dress was popping. I was like, oh, it was Auntie Kika that did it. Yes, you know, Boston's pretty small, so like some way everyone knows everyone, or like it's not easy to run into other people's circles. So I was like, yes, Auntie Kika, get your coin, because she's about to get a hefty coin from me, a hefty one, because I had 2 dresses made, and then I had like an outfit made for my friend. And you know, when she told me the total, I said, my bank account has suffered, but you know, it's okay, because how often do I even get clothes made? So I said, I'll ignore this price tag and just respect myself and get the clothes judging me. But her dress is cute. Like, look at it. I mean, you can't see it, but it looks cute. So I've been trying to be better about wearing sunscreen. I never wore sunscreen in the first place, but you should just do it in general, because gamma rays, UV light, damage, DNA, skin cancer. Don't do it to yourself. Always wear sunscreen. I was even telling my sister too. I said, girl, you need to wear sunscreen. Just because you think you little Carmelo thing, like, you need to wear sunscreen. You know what? I remind myself of those Nigerian aunties that like have heavy liner on the outside and then like a completely different color on the inside, trying to do this ombre effect, but it's not really ombre. It's just like liner and then lip gloss. So a friend sent me this video that was talking about, basically it was explaining the 10 dimensions, and that video blew my mind. I'm gonna share the link, just because it's crazy to think that we have other dimensions, and I'm sure this is a field to study. And it talked about how the 4th dimension is basically time. It's so interesting, and I think it was super interesting, especially because having just take physics, like our most recent stuff was like relativity and this concept of time slowing down, and you know, length contraction, and just mind-blowing things. So I was like, wow, this video is mind-blowing. And at the end of the day, the only conclusion I could come to is God. That's really it. So friends, that was all I have for today. I hope you guys found it helpful, useful. Never be afraid to ask for help. It is your right to ask for help. So do it. And let me know if you need anything. I'll see you guys in another video.